You know what heads gets even much more hate? Two-handed style.
Two-handed
Let's
style.
talk about two-handed style today.
Yeah. The car is just a tool. The same in bowling. Your style, the way you are throwing it, it's just the way you do it. Two-handers just eliminate part of the challenges or problems or part of the aspects of the one-hander technique. If two-hand technique would not be here, bowling's future as a sport, probably we could count days. One person that should discourage from bowling is one additional person who could play in the tournaments, buy bowling balls, whatever. You know, we need to grow this sport.
Guys, just a heads up before we start. This show is not about expert opinions. This show is purely about entertainment. We might choose controversial topics, provoke, make a joke or two about ourselves or other players. Sometimes we will say things just to start the conversation. What you hear isn't always about our personal opinion. We're just voicing what people might be thinking, but just scared to say out loud. And if you enjoy this kind of bowling content, please subscribe to our channel. That's the only thing that we ask, and it really helps us to improve our content to you. So thank you so much.
So what's up with that mustache?
What about it?
What is this cockroach under your nose?
It's not a cockroach. I think people trust guys with a mustache better, so I'm a trustworthy guy.
I don't know, you look like a guy who just hit puberty. First mustache came out and just let it grow. So guys, let us know in the comments if you think the new style for Erikas, does it look good or not?
50 likes and I shave it off.
Please like this video. I need to work with this man.
So much hate, much hate.
And
you know what heads gets even much more hate? Two-handed style.
Two-handed
Let's
style.
talk about two-handed style today.
Yeah. So two-handed style is something of a big controversy. We see the comments and everything else under every video, under every post, and under every, I don't know, people encounter.
There's an analogy when if you speak on social media something, in the sixth sentence, in the sixth comment on Facebook, you will hit, somehow you will hit Hitler. You know, so in the bowling, if you talk about bowling, in the sixth sentence, you will hit two-handed style, and it's an issue.
Yeah, so it's a really interesting and a question I think that we can discuss for many hours, and well, for us we probably have a consensus, and we will talk a bit about our opinions on this whole subject, but I think with people, especially in the comments, and we started this thing, BowlingLife, 3 years ago, and our first posts that hit a bit more reach already had so many comments about two-handers, even though these posts were in no way related to that topic. So then it was a big topic, and until now it's still a question that always sparks a big conversation.
But you know, it's been there for like 50 or 60 years. You know what Landy is? Czech Landy.
I think I heard of the guy.
So it's basically a guy who started two-handed bowling. You can confidently say that.
Isn't it Belmo?
It's not. It's not. But you can confidently say that Landy is the first bowler who hit PBA Tour with two-handed style, and his story is pretty much beautiful in any way. He started bowling with his sister and his best friend. His mom bought a bowling ball for both of them, for his sister and himself, and since the bowling ball was won, it has to be drilled, and they drilled it for his sister, so he couldn't fit his fingers into the ball, so he has to choose whether he's bowling with a bowling ball that his mom just bought it, a professional one, or he's bowling with the house balls. So he decided to bowl with the ball that he was bought, and well, he couldn't fit his fingers, so he started playing with two-hand. So it was in 1980s, he started bowling professionally. He started on regionals, and he scored, well, he cashed on pretty much every single of it. So, why to change things even though his coach said that you need to change because you won't get any better. And if you hit adult tournaments, they will say that it is not allowed to play two-handed style because it's illegal for some reason. But he never quits, and he made a lot of cash out of it. So is it cheating? Is it, Carlos? Is it cheating playing two-handed?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's cheating or not. Everyone has their own opinion. But just as an analogy for this whole topic, before we had only manual cars, right? People were driving it. That was the only thing available, and that was driving. As the time went by, car manufacturers, they experimented, they tried to improve their cars and the experience for the drivers. That's how automatic gearbox came into place. And of course, this whole thing is then and now was met with some, manual is the only way to drive. It's the real thing. If you are driving automatic, well, basically you don't know how to drive. But still, you are driving the same car, you are going to the same destination, and if you are a good driver, even with manual, well, most probably with manual, you will most definitely beat the one who is sitting in the automatic car, right? So it all depends on driver. But the fact is that we are talking, the car is just a tool. So the same in bowling. Your style, the way you are throwing it, it's just the way you do it. Two-handers just eliminate part of the challenges or problems or part of the aspects of the one-hander technique. So they don't need the thumb anymore, they can avoid this, they can generate more revs with only two fingers, using two hands. It's easier. It's easier for younger kids, to start playing bowling because they can lift heavier balls and throw it down the lane. You can generate more speed and so on and so on. So it's just the thing is that we are so afraid of the new things. If something changes, you are already have that negative reaction. It's cheating. You cannot do it this way. But why?
Because people are jealous, and people put... I can understand the hate coming from the one-handed style players. You put so much time and effort into bowling, into the arm swing, in the full swing, releasing the ball, timing, generating revs, speed. It's difficult. It's difficult to do it. And you have to put much time and effort to make it, to be a good player.
Yeah.
And... even the average player, you have to put, time to it. And suddenly a guy who, I don't know, let's take an example of ourselves, okay? I started two-handed bowling. Okay, I was one-handed and I transferred to two hands. It took me like a month or two to, to line up and to bowl well. So imagine a guy who started bowling like half a year ago. And he just comes to the league, to the guys who've been bowling for decades, and you suddenly see a guy who just bought his first bowling ball, and he's generating revs that you never seen before in your play. Yeah, he generates more speed. His spin action is better, and of course you are mad on him. But not because he's a better player. You're mad at the whole situation that, for some reason he can bowl against you, beat you, and take your money. So I can understand that frustration, but it's not about two-handed style, and it's more about themselves. They're just not happy about the situation. They just cannot evolve with the sport. Because just going back to Chuck, it's been 60 years since two-handed style began, and nothing changes. We had Osco and Belmo hates. Now we have Ethan Fiore. We have Ryan Barnes still hates on those guys, even though two-handed style was here for like half of a century.
It's everywhere. Most of the professional tournaments and non-professional tournaments as well. If we have a top, I don't know how many players, top 5, top 10, whatever, at least half of them, probably even more,
it's like
will be
50-50.
two-handers, right?
Yeah, but it's 50-50.
And so we have so many players. They are truly, I don't want to say dominating, but let's just say there are a lot of two-hander players, especially now. But we are still calling it cheating, still saying that it's not normal, you have to bowl this way or that way. How can you say that when half of the players that are playing are doing it? So it's and it was said by governing institutions that it is legal. You can do it. There are certain regulations about it. For example, if you have 3 holes,
Balance hole, yeah.
that's not
Illegal,
possible, right?
yeah.
So if you play with 2 fingers, you have to have two finger holes, which is fine. It makes sense. It's okay. So there are certain regulations, but the two-hander technique right now, it is a normal thing to see. So for me, it still baffles like how much discussion and hate and all the things that we have right now. It's still happening, and people cannot get used to it.
And a lot of kids that wouldn't necessarily be bowlers became bowlers because of the two-handed style. Let's take, for instance, if you know the story of Belmo, of Osku, they are from the families who own bowling business. Those kids started bowling like Osku started at age of 1. Belmo started at they lived in the bowling center because their parents was running the business, so it was in the blood for them.
Yeah.
But if you want to bowl, you cannot live that bowling ball when you're a kid. And imagine a 3-year-old or 6-year-old kid making a one-handed full swing with a 10-pound bowling ball. It's basically, physically, it's impossible to do it. So just because of the two-handed style, those kids like Belmo, the Osku, Jesper, Kyle, they all became professional bowlers.
Became who they are today. Basically.
Yes, because of this. They did not bring that two-handed style into bowling. It's another way around. Mm-hmm. Two-handed style just put them into the elite of this sport. So imagine bowling without such names as Osku, Belmo, Kyle. How it would look like.
For sure, will look a lot different. And
I wouldn't like that sport that much as I like it now without those guys.
Yeah, but I think one thing is very important to mention. I started this with my gearbox analogy. That if you are it all depends on the driver. It all depends on the player. How much time and effort you put into practicing your craft. So we cannot take away from one-handers as well. These are 2 different styles. They require different types of preparation. Maybe one style requires more physical preparation. Another style maybe requires more technique, more innovative ways to generate the same rev rate, as, for example, as two-handers and so on. So, but people adapt. You look at the top PBA players right now. E.J. Tackett still bowls one-handed, still beats everyone in his way. No problem, no questions asked. So what, does he think that two-handers cheat as well? I don't think so. I mean, he probably just beats them and goes on his way.
Just for the record, EJ owns a bowling center with the string pins, so put hate on that then.
Yeah. We also have a lot of other players. Andrew Anderson also is on the rise. Graham Fa and
we can sit here for 2 hours and name players.
Lots of players
very
in
good
Europe
players.
and so on. So there are lots of great one-handers who are competing just as much as two-handers, or they are even better.
And from my point of view, I think that this is just pure hate. Take me for an example.
Yes,
I don't know if because of the mustache.
Yeah.
But look, I don't know if I told you the story, but when I started bowling, it was like in 4th grade, like 9 or 10-year-old guy on the bowling lanes, you know, with the coach. And the coaches was trying to make me bowl with one hand. Because where I started, no one was throwing it in two-handed style. It was unknown in Lithuania. So I started one-handed, but I was short kid, very tiny one. I just hadn't much, muscle power to hold that ball and to make a full swing. So I always put my left arm on the bowling ball, and I would release it just before I hit the
So
approach
basically
in
you
the
played
last
with
step.
2 hands,
So it's basically something. It's unorthodox style, something like Wes Mallet does, but I just put the thumb in. So even then, it's like 20 years ago, I was getting so much hate from other two little ones who bowled in Lithuania as well, because we didn't have much bowlers, and we still don't have much bowlers in Lithuania. But I was still getting, hate and comments on my style just because I threw it differently. Something that people are not used to see. So that's complaining for complaining, that it doesn't have any ground. And from my point of view, hating two-handers and calling it cheating and all other names that it is called, I think it's unfair.
Yeah, and we recently had also a short video, a reel
Yeah,
of
exactly.
a compilation of teenagers, kids throwing strikes in one of the tournaments that we work with. This video got
Viral?
viral, you could say. Yeah, there were lots of views on that one, and recently there were so many comments that started to come in. I wouldn't necessarily say that they were commenting on the technique or aspects of the game. It was just pure hate. Comments such as blip off and put your fingers put your thumb in the ball, all different kind of wording and so on, and you are commenting on a post where these are teenagers, these are kids. So you are an old man to those kids. Compared to those kids, you are 50, 60 years old. You should be better, you should be smarter. You should support them, encourage them to
Whatever style they pick.
That's great. Kids are playing my sport that I love. Kids are playing it with
So
two
it
hands,
has the
one
future.
hand, 3 hands, whatever. The main thing is that new people are coming into the sport. They pick up a style which suits them, suits their physical
abilities,
condition, makes it easier for them, and that helps them enjoy the sport that we love. So that's the sport grows. If two-hand technique would not be here, bowling's future as a sport, probably we
It's
could
done.
count days. How much time is left until there is no sport bowling. So we should be happy that this is happening. New things, new technologies. Yes, I know that there are certain things or certain changes in our sport that maybe are not for the best. We have very different controversial topics that maybe we could talk in the future, whether it's bowling balls, equipment, lanes, and whatever. So there are different things that are questionable. But complaining that people are coming in and playing the sport that you love,
and choosing not the style that you picked. So
that doesn't make sense to me at all. I was actually, usually when I read those comments, under posts, whether it's our posts or whatever, it's, to me it's entertaining, to be honest. I love reading those comments. It's fun.
And you have to respond to them, so it's your job.
It's fun to see the discussion. If it's constructive, that's even better. Usually it's just hate, But for me, it's funny, to be honest. It's just something that I love to do. It's entertaining. But those comments, when you are commenting on young people, on children, that was probably one of the times when I got mad. Honestly, I had to disable the comments.
Like,
It's like, shut up. So yeah, it's.
You guys can think that we are biased because Carlos been two-hander for like a decade, and I just shifted to two-hand style. But look, it's
And
not about that.
Just while on that topic on us, I'm two-handed for 10 years. I'm still shit. So it doesn't matter if I
Can't
play
relate.
one hand, two hands. I'm just bad bowler. For me, it's fine. I talk about it now, so I don't play. But it just proves my point. It doesn't matter how you play. If you put the effort in, if you practice, if you constantly try to improve your style, whether you are two-hander, one-hander, it doesn't matter. You can still beat the other guy. It's not cheating if you are still throwing the ball with one hand. We have different styles. We have style from Asia, the spinner technique. You could call it cheating as well.
And they probably will.
The ball turns not the way it's supposed to, so it's cheating. But it still brings people in. You can still beat those guys.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. If whatever the style is, if it brings people into the sport, it's fine. It's totally fine. Everyone is different. Everybody's physique is different. And we almost every time say that bowling, otherwise other sports is made for everyone. No matter your physique, your looks or something, you can excel in bowling. That's our strength of our sport. And if you say to those guys who pick their own style that they are cheaters, they are, I don't know, some kind of odd people, and they are ruining your sport, no, they're not ruining your sport. And it is not your sport. Yeah. It's community sport. And if you cannot deal with that, it's in your head, not in sport in general.
Yeah, but you are killing not only that person's motivation, but you are killing bowling in general. Like, one person that you discourage from bowling is one additional person who could play in the tournaments, buy bowling balls, whatever. We need to grow this sport. And if we fight with each other, about things such as how many hands you use during your approach, that's complete nonsense. We need to align. We need to be together, stay strong. We need to work for our sport, not against each other. It's just, if it will stay like that, we will not go anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. So on that note, I think
it's enough.
Yeah, it's enough.
I said everything that I wanted.
Yeah, we said everything that we wanted.
If you agree with that, drop it in the comments. Let's have the conversation. Even if you don't, put that. Just don't spill the hate, but make it based on something. Say facts before your emotions, and then we can have a fair discussion. So drop it in the comments.
Yeah, let's have a constructive discussion.
Yeah, and don't forget, 50 likes and I shave this off.
Yeah. So yeah, see you next time, and keep on striking.